whether you're just starting out and this is your first time maybe ever even seeing ChatGPT, to those in the room who are heavily involved using AI every day and they feel like it's completely changed their business, I'm going to give you guys a whole bunch of stuff. All right. So really, who am I? Why am I talking? First of all, huge shout out to Jameson Olson. Like she said, all my son's moving. She's a huge partner of mine here in the Colorado space. I host and teach roughly about 10 classes and events every single month here in Colorado, over 100 a year. And it's anything from tech and AI to social media to video to all sorts of things on the marketing space. I always say at the end of the day, guys, listen, I sell title insurance. I work for Chicago Title. That's how I make money. I make money off commission, just like you guys. But I found to the ability to carve out a niche here in the Denver metro market where I can add value to real estate agents, legitimately sit down with them, help them with their business, help them with their marketing, and help them with what they need to get to the next level. So today we're going to focus on AI, which, like I said, this class I'm going to share with you today, oh my goodness, even just compared to even a month ago, it's already changed. This is an ever evolving class. So let's dive into things. All right. So classes that I teach, tons of stuff. You guys don't need to know anything this, but what I want to share with you is this slide real quick right here before we get into things. And the point here, you guys might feel it, I feel it personally, and it's that AI is overwhelming and there's so many things going on. And I'm going to share with you guys kind of like a buffet of stuff. That way I can cover the bases of everyone from beginner to advanced. And my goal for you is just to take away maybe like two or three things, because I understand when I teach this, for some people, it might be ingesting a lot of information at once. So just maybe one or two things and just implement. All right. Don't get overwhelmed. I want to help all of you. And the way I see the way the world of AI is moving, if any of you ever had maybe the first smartphone, right? Let's say iPhone. Remember when it came out and it had what, like 16 apps on it? And then all of these apps flooded the market, right? They were like, this is remember when your phone didn't have a flashlight on it and there were like 25 flashlight apps, right? That's how I feel in this world with AI, where there's all these different competing apps. They all kind of do the same thing, but they're different, right? But for us, for what we are doing in our daily lives in the real estate space, really, in my opinion, for most of us, you just need to pick one. Okay. So typically, from what I found for most of us, right, is we're usually using ChatGPT. All right. There's always going to be outliers. What ChatGPT is, it's called a large language model, also abbreviated, referred to an LLM, right? And this is basically where we can take it and we can type into it. People forget we can upload images into it. We can upload documents. We can upload videos, and it can read that information. It can give us answers to the questions that we ask it. We just have to be aware enough to give it that prompt and that question to get that result that we want. So the other goal of this class today is really just to hopefully expand your mindset on what AI is capable of doing so that maybe it can help you further in your business. All right. So, like I said, there's tons of different LLMs, whether it's Grok, Perplexity, Claude, DeepSeek, and they're always competing and they're all fantastic. Where we're going to focus on is ChatGPT. So now enter ChatGPT. All right. This is ChatGPT. Hi, welcome. First time here, or maybe you're very familiar with it like me. I don't know about anybody else here who's listening right now, but I don't Google anything anymore. I am heavily on ChatGPT, or my backup LLM Claude, and I use them entirely. I don't even bother. And the reason why, right, is because compared to, say, if you went to Google and search something, you'd have to go through the results, find the answer yourself. Whereas, say, this large language model, such as ChatGPT, it does the work for us. We just have to read the results. All right. So, ChatGPT, what are we looking at right here? Quick overview before we dive into things, guys, is left-hand side. All right. You're going to have the ability to create a new chat. Highly recommend always creating a new chat when you're using ChatGPT. If you haven't taken the liberty to yourself to create an actual account on ChatGPT, I would encourage you to do this. And the reason why is because then we can start to have ChatGPT learn about who we are and how we want our results given to us. Once we've created a ChatGPT account, if you are logged in on your computer into ChatGPT, you can, bottom left, you can click on your profile and you can choose an option that says customize ChatGPT. Unfortunately, a lot of people don't know this is here. Guys, if there's one takeaway for this entire class for today on just one thing to do, I would do this. Okay. And it's just to customize your ChatGPT. So when you're logged in, you can customize your ChatGPT. It's going to ask you a series of 5 questions. The first question is, what should ChatGPT call you? Maybe your name, all right, or something else if you're into it. You do you, right? What do you do? I'm a real estate agent in this market. What personality should it have? Default is fine. Last 2 questions. What traits should ChatGPT have? Okay. And anything else ChatGPT should know about you. All right. Right. So for example, I use ChatGPT a lot to respond as if it's me. I want to respond in the first person narrative. I explain to it how I like to speak to my audience. All right. The fastest way to fill out these questions, guys, is to highlight them and copy them and bring them into ChatGPT and have ChatGPT answer the questions for you for ChatGPT. All right. So what you could do is you could provide it with sources such as your website or information about you. You could even upload, maybe you got a PDF document or information on who you are, right? So it can quickly analyze who you are, and then it can give that output that you can then copy and paste back into the customization side of ChatGPT. All right. So why is this important, guys? Right? Because it's the old saying, garbage in, garbage out, right? So we don't want to put garbage in. We want professional, well-written, great content that sounds like us. Also, too, for those of you, if you've dabbled with some of this stuff for a while, you're probably aware of like when you first start using a large language model such as ChatGPT, when you first like take it out of the box, it kind of has generic responses that kind of sound like at this point, right? If you've seen them enough, they just sound like AI, right? They use words and phrases that really aren't us. So the first step is just to like we got to break it in, and we want to get it away from sounding like your typical AI output. And this is one way to do that. So main takeaway for today, if you're gonna take away one thing, I would just make sure you fill this in and do this. All right, cool. Moving on. Guys, by the way, if you have questions along the way, I'm just going to keep rolling here because I have a ton of information that I want to cover. If you want, yell at me and we can cover something real quick. Okay. I'm very casual when I speak and teach. All right. So moving on here, customize ChatGPT, done. Next thing that's important, left-hand side here, okay? We've got from the top, new chat, which we always want to start a new chat. We can search our chat. So if you have a series of chats and you want to find one, you can search a keyword and come back to it. Over here is library. If you didn't know this, AI can create images. You can see here's some stuff I was messing around with. Right, this is like this is peeking into my ChatGPT. What you'll see here is images of stuff that I've messed around with. I personally, if anyone is creating video content or social media content, ChatGPT has come a very, very long way with creating content that is starting to almost look like us. It's not there yet, but it can spell properly. It can really dial in images. They really improved this in the second half of this year. So you can see here a variety of different thumbnails and images that I actually just create now through chat. And I'd say it gets me 95% to 100% of the way there with creating image content. Okay, so just know that it's here if you want to create image content. Next step down here is another section where we have something called Sora, which creates AI images and AI video. All right, I'm not going to dive too deep into this. I just want you to know that it's here. Sora is OpenAI, which owns ChatGPT. It's another platform that you have access to if you pay for the $20 a month version of ChatGPT. Okay. So you can see stuff here. You can create images, you can create video content. You just type in what you want and it will create that for you. So just know that's here. If you're doing anything with images or videos, Sora, a lot of people don't realize that they have access to it if they are paying $20 a month for the plus version. So that segues next into free ChatGPT, right, versus paying for ChatGPT. Free ChatGPT, here's my opinion. If you're using the free ChatGPT, cool, keep using it, keep playing with it. But if you find yourself constantly getting shut off by the system saying, hey, Jameson, come back tomorrow, right? We don't want you to talk anymore about all my sons moving. You've used up your tokens. You're done. Come back tomorrow. That's happening all the time. It's probably time for you to upgrade and spend $20 a month. All right. What we will find here is if you do pay the $20 a month, you're going to, of course, get more access, get more availability to using it. And then really you can leverage this tool, like I said, Sora, as well as uploading documents and data and stuff. without getting shut off. Okay. So that's going to be the answer to free versus paid. All right. Next up, GPTs. Just knowing that they're here. There's this whole feature of all these different GPTs of things you can type in, you can search. Honestly, this is something if you want to mess with it on your own, cool. You can create your own GPTs, which is a whole nother conversation for another day. But they're in here. What a GPT is, it's essentially a pre-programmed, I don't know, a pre-programmed GPT that you can use to your advantage. You can create your own or use others, or you can share your GPTs with people and use them for your everyday lives. So if you find yourself doing repetitive tasks, whether it's daily, weekly, monthly, it's probably time to possibly create a GPT. You can see here some GPTs. Here's one that I've created. I've got an MLS photo description generator where all I do is upload the images into this and it will create the photo descriptions for my, say, MLS listings, right? Or if I wanted blogs that are written for real estate, I've got a blog GPT. All right, guys, again, buffet, lots of things. I'm just covering the overview so you know what is here and what you're looking at. Next up, left-hand side, okay, guys, this is projects, all right? So projects, the way I describe them, think of them as like folders. So for example, here is a project, and you can see within this project, there are folders within it of past chats that I've done. Okay. So this project is called Write Like Me social media posts. Okay. So if anyone listening right now is creating content for social media, you might want to consider creating a project. Okay. Let's now clarify what is the difference between a project and a GPT. All right. They're very similar because they both involve the purpose of doing repetitive tasks, right? Whether it's MLS listing description, social media content, right? But I would say the main key difference with a project versus a GPT is that a project allows you to continually update it and change it as you move forward with it. Okay. So I would just encourage you at some point later on to just click on these, mess with them, take a look at them, know they're here. All right. But what you can do, where I'm going here, right, again, is I understand that there's a lot of information out there on AI, but let's dial it into how can you save time. That's what I want you to do today is just save time and really just be more efficient in your day-to-day lives. And how we do that is we can set up, say, a project for a repetitive task that we're doing. So for example, what this looks like is I could create a new project, type something in here, and then it will live over here and sit up top. Okay. So if we're doing social media posts, I could give it instructions, which are in here, and have it create social media content based off of how I speak, what I do. So it sounds like me. All right. Okay. So that's projects. Below projects, you're going to see your chat history, right? Which is down here. Okay. Cool. I know I'm moving fast, but I want to cover a lot of material here. All right. So next up, guys, that's a quick over on ChatGPT. And of course, we got the different GPTs up here. ChatGPT 5 just came out, which is their strongest, fastest model. That just came out last week. So that's very exciting. So, of course, I'm going to default it to that. And now we're going to jump over into something that looks like this. And this is a folder of my Google Drive, of a shared folder that I'm going to share with every single one of you. What is this? This is a shared folder that you will all receive access to that is built up of a variety of different prompts that you can use within, say, ChatGPT to get from point A to point Z to give you an end result. Okay, so a prompt, what is it? What does that mean? It's basically going to give you an entire script of information that you're just going to copy and paste, say this one, into ChatGPT to then get an end result. Why would we use a prompt? Why do we need these? Okay. The reason why is because prompts are going to allow you to save time and the potential worry of dealing with getting the end result and getting an accurate result for something that you want. So here are some examples of some prompts. This is a prompt right here that can quickly analyze the real estate market month over month. Here's one that will analyze the real estate market week over week. Here's a prompt if you're going into a listing appointment. and you want to quickly have the data at your hand and a listing presentation created for you before you go into that listing appointment. Here's a year over year prompt, right? So you get it. There's tons of prompts in here, guys. I am curating these, building these, or acquiring these, and then sharing them with all of you. Okay. So take a look at it. There's a ton of stuff in here. There's even I'm going to share this with you. This is a Google Drive folder that I created. You all will get access to it after this. I'm going to share it with you. Yep. Yep. Without a doubt, whenever I teach this class, typically hands down, the number one thing that it seems like a lot of real estate professionals are using large language models such as ChatGPT for is they're using ChatGPT to come up with their listing descriptions. All right. So then I'd say again, out of all this buffet of information, I'd say this is probably key takeaway number two. All right. Because I think it's probably going to benefit all of you. Is I created a listing description generator that is compliance aware. And all you have to do, I think a lot of us miss this, all you have to do is upload the images of your listing and it's going to create your listing description for you. Okay. So, question, Kenny. Kenny's raising his hand. What's up? Good question. Yeah, I would pick your 10. Good question. Yep, pick your 10, select those best 10 ones, probably exterior, interior, right backyard. I'd say those key features. Yep. Um, so, guys, I'm going to give you access to this too. Again, highlight it, copy it, try it. Let me know what you think. All right. Now, keynote here. It is the one only minor tweak here is I know that here with RE Colorado, with the MLS in Colorado, the maximum number of characters is 2,000 characters. So I do limit it to 2,000. I'm not sure how long your MLS is. So minor kind of nerdy note there, but this is it. Again, try it out. And also just keep that in mind too when you're trying to do anything, right? You could upload an image into ChatGPT and have it read that image because again, AI can read images, it can read video, it can read text. Okay. Good questions. All right, back on track. And again, all these prompts are going to be within that Google Drive folder. All right, back on track here. All these prompts, cool. Now, obviously, we don't have time to go through all of these today, but I do want to cover a popular one lately. And I don't know about you all, but here in the Colorado market, listings seem to be sitting longer. It seems like things have changed for quite some time now, right? So things have changed. The market have shifted, and listings are sitting longer. And I don't know about you all, but maybe you've had a stubborn seller that doesn't want to drop the price. Maybe you've already dropped the price a few times on a listing and you don't know what to do. And maybe you need some more information to explain to your seller on, hey, here's what's going on. Here's what the market is telling us. And here are your options on what we can do with this existing listing. Okay. So where I'm going here is within this folder of analyzing MLS data. There are a variety of prompts, but I've got two within here. And one of them that I like is this right here. And this is seller conversation about a property that has been on the market for a while and wants to get it sold. Okay. And what this does is this is going to analyze your subject property and it's also going to analyze comparable homes within the area. And it's going to figure out the key nuances on why your home has not sold and why others have sold and provide suggestions on what you can do. Spoiler alert, you can drop the price, right? It's really drop the price, improve the home, take it off the market, right? But the key point here, guys, is that now we are just leveraging real data that is available to us, right, through our local MLS. And we are going to present it to the seller in a clean, presentable way so that they can interpret it for their own and they can decide what they want to do, right? This is the data. Jameson, what do you want to do? Here's what we got, right? So basically what this says is, hey, I'm having a conversation with my seller. I want this key information to be created. It's going to be drawn exclusively just from the data provided. Do not fabricate or make up any statistics, right? I want it to still position me as the expert real estate agent, and I truly understand what to do. And it's going to involve us doing really, I think, 3 steps. Okay. So, big picture here. All right. We are first going to log in, right, into our local data provider to get all this information, our MLS. We are going to download that data. We are then going to upload it into ChatGPT. And then we're going to have ChatGPT analyze it. Okay. Then, last step, we're going to show you all this hands on here in a moment, is we're then going to take that information that ChatGPT gives us and we are going to make it more presentable, more digestible, more visually appealing using another AI system called Gamma, which I'm going to share here in a moment. That is going to be really, really cool. Okay. So let me show you an example of this. All right. So I am going to do my best. I understand that I'm going to be working off of a different MLS here, but I want to explain to you the fundamentals of how you can do this here. Okay. Backing up, right? Where I'm going here with this, you all, is you have access, right, to your local MLS system and you can pull data on real estate transactions, active, pending, closed, whatever you want, right? This is RE Colorado here in the Denver Metro, all right? And of course, this is going to look very different than yours, but I want to apply the principles of the search functionality and again, expand your mind on what you can do with data because you have access to this in your local market. Is we can log in to our MLS and we can download data, right? Anything that we want. And what's great is you might have access to maybe market reports. Maybe they're I don't know, county-wide market reports or cities or zip codes. It's just great. But just again, want to expand your mindset. One thing you could do is you can create your own market reports now on anything. Once I explain to you the fundamentals of how to do this, we can create a map and we can map out a small neighborhood. We could map out a city. We can map out a subdivision of an area, and we can download this data. Then we can have AI analyze it very, very, very quickly. All right. So, for the purpose of today, we are going to cover first off, maybe a listing that is sitting. Okay. So let's do this. I am going to share with you an example of something that I could pull here. Let's just do one real quick. Let's say Denver, and let me revise this. Let me go Cherry Creek. And all I'm doing now is I'm just searching for an area because I actually just don't have a listing. And let's just pretend that it is, say, this one right here, 2 South Monroe Street. Okay. What I'm going to do is I am going to go back into here and I'm going to search for ideally sales that have occurred around my listing within a certain area. You could do radius, or if you want to be more detailed, of course, you can map it out within your MLS. But I want to pull anything that maybe has closed. And again, it's going to be a case by case situation based off of the area that your listing is in. Right? How far back in time do we have to go to get enough sales, and how wide of an area do we have to go? And again, I'm doing this for example purposes, but the key takeaway here is if you have a listing that is sitting, you will log into your local MLS. You will apply the search functionality where we're going to pull anything that is sold within the last, I don't know, 30, 60, 90 days within the surrounding area that ideally we can extract comparable sales from. Okay, that is the objective. So let's do this. Here's the beauty of this to you guys is you can, if you want, you can take the time to plug in bedrooms, bath, and really dial in the comps that you want to use. But also take note that this prompt here that I'm going to be sharing with you, it is written out to do its best to try to find comparable properties automatically comparable to your property. Okay. But I want to illustrate a key point here. You all are the experts. All right. AI, right? AI is going to do its best to save you a ton of time. But at the end of the day, you are the expert and no one's going to take that away from you. You know more about the market. You know more about your listing than anyone else. So I would say leverage these prompts to your advantage. But if you disagree with the sales chosen, you can pick the sales, you can apply the sales, you can do anything you want. Okay, getting back on track here. Let's take this property. Here we go. We're at 2 South Monroe Street, which is currently active for who knows how many number of days. And we have pulled anything that's closed within a mile and it gives us 68 matches. Here within this MLS, I'm going to click on results. All right. And I'm going to select all of the properties. All right. I'm going to select everything. I am then going to want to export this data out of the MLS. All right. Here within RE Colorado, we can click the export button here. Okay. And when we export this data, we want to export as much information as possible. Now, I've dabbled with quite a few MLSs, and what I found, I'd have to look at yours to be exact, but what I found here is that the MLS has different export formats that we can work with that are going to provide a different amount of data that we can download. Okay. For example, here in RE Colorado, we have these different options, as well as this one called Appraiser down here. We also have the ability to create our own downloads where we can pick and choose certain categories of information that we can create as an export and download it. All right. So just stay with me here. Okay. What we're going to do is we're going to download all of the information on these sales. All right. When I click export, it is going to download this into a spreadsheet. When I click export, it is going to export. Next up, now here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to come over here. Did it work? No, it did not. Come on, RE Colorado. There it is. All right, cool. I'm just going to name it Monroe Street, 60 days, 1 mile. Sure. Okay. What does this data look like? Again, these are the sales that occurred. This is all the information from the list price to the close price to everything about them, all of the key intricate details, the private remarks, the public remarks, all this information that, again, is going to save us time because AI is going to automatically analyze all this information for us. Okay. So I am now going to take this information and I'm going to upload it into ChatGPT here in a moment. But before I do that, the last step that I want to do is if we're ever trying to analyze a subject property, whether it's in this scenario where we are working with a subject property that is currently active, we want to drop the price. Another scenario could be we have a subject property and we want to go into a listing presentation and we want to know everything about this property in the market, right? We can download through different ways, but the way that I do it here through this local MLS is I like to, if it's already in the MLS, I like to download all of the pre-existing information on it. So how I'm going to do that real quick here, you guys, is I am just going to type it in on here and I'm going to pull the property profile report for this subject property. Okay. So I'm just going to go over here into South Monroe, search. Okay. Revise. Fine. Come on, MLS. There we go. And where I'm going here, you guys, is I want to save you time. So in order to provide this information on the subject property and compare it, we have to give it all into ChatGPT. So the fastest way to do this is to download the complete report of the property that we're analyzing. All right. So here it is, 2 South Monroe Street, just down the street. Here within our system, we can print and export information. And basically, this is obviously going to look different for you guys, but we just want to pull as much information on the subject property as possible. And here within RE Colorado, within our MLS, we do what's called a full property view. And I want to print it down into a PDF. And what this is going to give me, it's going to give me like an 8 to 10 page report on everything about the subject property. It's going to give me all of the intricate details. It's going to give me the images. Remember, again, AI can read images, right? It's going to give me all this different information, and it kind of looks like this, right? So again, whatever that process is within your local MLS, download that profile information on the subject property. That way you're not typing it into ChatGPT. You can just upload the data instead. Okay, So now moving back here into ChatGPT, here it is. All right. I'm going to take this prompt and I'm going to highlight it and I'm going to copy it. All right. And you can see here, it's our prompt, right? We're going to upload two things. We're going to upload the MLS data, which we just had, and the subject property. And then we're going to have it analyze it for me. I'm going to paste this prompt information into here. It is 99% done. The only thing that I want to share in addition is I just want to explain to it the sales that I downloaded. So in this scenario, I'm going to say, take note that I downloaded sales that occurred within the last 60 days within a 1 mile radius of the subject property. That's what I would say, something like that. I'm going to explain the timeline and the radius. By the way, guys, another quick little pro tip here on ChatGPT. Right here, you can do dictation. On average, humans, we speak 4 times faster than we type. Okay, so you can use voice dictation to quickly dictate as well. All right. So here's the prompt. I added a little bit of detail. I am now going to upload the 2 pieces of information we downloaded, right? Which was the subject property and the sales. Right here. Here's 2 South Monroe and subject property. Okay. Spreadsheet PDF. Once this uploads, I'm done. I'm going to click enter. It is now going to analyze the subject property. I don't know how long it's been active on the market. That's, of course, the only variable we're going to find out here in a moment. It's also going to analyze the comparable sales. I think there were 68. It's going to find the most comparable sales and provide that information. And then it's going to find unique reasons on why maybe the subject property is still sitting and why why it has not sold. So while it's doing that, to keep the ball moving here, I want to show you all what I think is one of the coolest other AI platforms out there that I highly, highly, highly recommend you all check out. Okay. This would probably be like takeaway number 3. It's going to be gamma.app. Okay. So gamma.app, it is not an app as far as I'm aware. Last time I checked, it is a website, gamma.app. Okay. Try it out, sign up, try it for free. All right, you can use the free version and get away with doing a lot of stuff with it. Okay, if you really like it, of course, you can upgrade. But what it does is it takes any sort of information, whether that is text, images, anything you want to upload into it, and it makes it more visually appealing. Okay. For the longest time when I was teaching these AI classes and I was trying to help people create reports and PDFs and documents, you might be able to relate to this. What happens is when ChatGPT spits all of this out, it unfortunately, if you try to download that data, it unfortunately does not make it very visually appealing. It's a pretty basic white page PDF document with bullet points. So the key ingredient I learned after finding this is that Gamma can take that information and make it very, very visually appealing. And what we're going to do here is we can go into gamma.app and we can paste in any text that we want, and we can have it create a presentation. We can have it create a standalone web page. We can have it create a PDF document. We can have it create a social media post, okay? And it will automatically do it for us. So that is where I'm going here. Now that you understand what this does, I want to expand your mindset on where I'm going with this and what you can do with it, right? You can leverage ChatGPT to create, in this scenario, right, a report that we're going to share with the seller. You could use ChatGPT to create, to its most simplest form, a home buyer's guide, a home seller's guide. You could be more niched. If you're farming a neighborhood or focused on an area, you could say, here's your home seller's guide to the Cherry Creek, Denver market and everything you need to know. And you can use AI to build this for you. And then you can have AI create a very beautiful looking document, which we also could call in the marketing world a lead magnet, that you can share or give away or acquire leads from through using this. So that is gamma.app. I highly, highly, highly recommend trying it out. What does this look like? I'm going to show you here. It looks like ChatGPT decided to not work on me. I am going to stop and I'm going to say, hey, redo this and try again. Okay. Let's see what's going on. Okay, next up. Other things I want to share with you is gammas. What do these look like? I'm going to go back home. Right here on this screen, you can see past gammas that I've created. Here's one that I created on the Denver housing market. All right. This was a swipeable Instagram social media post that I actually posted on my social media and I shared with real estate agents. And it looks like this. Gamma made this in a minute. And this is the kind of content that it will quickly create for you with the ability that it does to create that visualization behind things. All right. So, what this means for you is you will start to build out these gammas. Here's one I just created 30 minutes ago. Here's an agent who wanted to look at a subdivision called Green Valley Ranch in Denver, and they wanted to provide insights to what sellers need to know. And what they did is we downloaded that MLS data, we then uploaded it to ChatGPT, and then we copied and pasted the results of the market information into Gamma. And Gamma created this off of just text, numbers, data. Okay. Stay with me here. Let's see if it wants to work. It doesn't want to work. Cool. All right. So while it's doing that, I am going to give you an example of one that I've done in the past. So let me go down here into a previous one that I did. Okay. Here's an example of one that I did for another class where we were looking at a property that is very unique. And we actually even had it look at everything going on in the market, active and pending. And what it does, this is the kind of output you're looking at, you guys, is it's going to take the subject property information, it's going to explain what it is, what's going on. It is going to provide the information on the data that it analyzed, what's selling, what's sitting, price per square foot. It's going to then provide recommendations, right? Reduce to this price or to this price range. It's going to give you a seller facing talking point and explain what's going on. Buyers are jumping on income properties that are priced right and ready to move. The ones closing in under 30 days are typically under a $625,000 price range and don't back to commercial. That's also a key note here. The AI is analyzing where these properties are and it's taking into consideration where your subject property is. So that's pretty cool. At $649,000 current list price, we're competing with newer or fully remodeled duplexes. How does it know that? Because again, we fed it the information, right? Dropping the price to $624,900 strategically positions us to attract serious buyers who are seeing value disappear at higher price points, right? What can you do? You can reduce the price. Let me give you another example, okay? Let's go back over into here. Let's look at this one, okay? Same deal. Different analysis. All right. Here's another subject property that's been sitting here in another part of Denver, right? This was funny. It gave responses to what buyers might be thinking when they review it, which aren't the most positive thing. Strategic insight, right? Again, what's going on? Your property has two serious buyer deterrents. Interior condition needs renovation, and the lot location backs to noisy, unattractive commercial. Again, because it is reading all of the data that we fed it. While you're at $398 per square foot, the privacy and peace premium drives most of the comp's value. Acreage buyers expect a retreat, not commercial traffic and noise. So to reposition effectively, target buyers looking for redevelopment or value add potential. That's the other thing too. It's going to give you strategic recommendations on who you might want to target as an ideal buyer. It's going to give you a suggested price range. Okay. Now I've gotten pushback on the price range. Again, I want to make this very clear. This is AI, guys. Just like all of AI, I think it's going to get you 85% to 90% of the way there. But again, you are the experts. So it is totally okay for you to disagree with it. If you think the price range should be different, you could type back and say, I disagree, right? I think it should be priced at whatever, X. And then it will rerun the report for you and give it to you at that price adjustment range. Again, this is just going to do the heavy lifting so that you don't have to do all of the heavy lifting. Moving on. It will explain, again, a seller facing point. Let's say we want to take this information real quick And we wanted to highlight it and make it very visually appealing to share with maybe the homeowner. Okay. Whatever that is, that output is, right? Whatever you type in and get your end result at, these prompts are automatically going to format them so that we can copy and paste them into Gamma.app. Okay. And all I said was, hey, I want to copy and paste this into Gamma.app. So make sure you format it to me appropriately so I can do that. All right. And that's what it did. Right. So all I'm going to do now is I'm just going to pretend that I'm going to take this subject property output, right, of this listing that's sitting too long. I'm going to highlight it. I'm going to copy it. I am then going to go over into Gamma.app. I'm going to create a new gamma. Okay. There's 3 ways to create a gamma. You can paste in text, which I do 100% of the time, or you can generate or upload a file. Truthfully, though, I like to paste in text. Okay. I'm going to go here. I'm just going to paste in all of that output from ChatGPT. I'm then going to decide up here what kind of output do I want? Do I want a presentation, web page, document, social media post? Let's say it is a PDF document. Let's click that one. Next step, down here, I'm going to choose, what do you want to do with this content? Well, I want to turn the rough ideas, bullet points, and outlines into beautiful content. I'm going to choose this first option right here. All right. I'm then going to click continue to prompt editor. When this loads, it is going to start to analyze the information. And top left side, working my way down, is going to take that content, it's going to generate it into more beautiful looking content. The next question you have to ask yourself is, how much information do you want on each page? Okay. They call them cards. Cards are just what they call pages. And I think the answer for you have to decide for yourself, is who are you presenting this to and how detail oriented are they? If they're an engineer, you might want extensive information, right? But I'll tell you what, that is a lot of information. Typically, when we run these, we do maybe detailed or concise. Let's do detailed just to show you what this looks like. Write this for? Who are we writing this for? It tries to figure it out. What did it say? Real estate investors and brokers evaluating fixture properties in suburban Denver. Good try, right? I would change this, delete it, right? I'd say the homeowner of 7735 Westview Drive in Lakewood, Colorado, because this is a report for them. Okay. Scroll down, tone, direct, analytical, candid. That's fine. I like that. And final step is going to be choosing your color scheme and what you want it to look like and how you want it to appear. So you've got anything from dark to light to professional to colorful, okay? And you can choose one. If you pay for the upgraded pro version, you can create your own colors, upload your logo, and really curate it into your own branded piece and theme that you want. Let's just choose one. We will do, I don't know, let's go dark and professional. Let's go with this one. Sure. Select theme. All right. Cool. We're done. You'll see here in the main section of the screen, Gamma automatically took the text and broke it up into what they call cards, which again is really just pages. All right. So I broke it down card by card. That looks good. Cool. Let's click the final button. And let's hope this works today. Generate. Okay. So now Gamma is going to take and analyze all this text and start to build out each card and then add visually appealing design behind it to this color scheme. So here we go. Now, one thing it's going to do, right? It's going to use text and it's going to use AI images, right? But it's going to try to, again, put this in more of a digestible information. Again, this is, I think, the detailed version. So this is, you can see quite a bit of text. If I didn't like this, I could tweak it and redo it. All right. Market context, right? Look at this. Guys, also too, if anyone's using like Canva or PowerPoint, I found that I don't really need to create presentations or anything anymore in Canva or PowerPoint. I use Gamma because here's what's cool. It's building all this out and writing it. Like, look at it go. This is my favorite part of the presentation. Right? It's filling everything in. It's going to add charts, graphs, AI images where it believes it should. But here's the deal. If I don't like something, I can change it instantly. For example, let me click on, say, like this right here, this pie chart. Maybe I don't want a pie. Maybe I want a donut or a line or a column or a bar, right? I can instantly change it. If I go up here, maybe this subject property overview page, maybe I don't like it and I want to redo it. I can have AI instantly redo the whole page. And I can just click this drop down and look at my options. I can improve writing, I can make longer, I can make shorter, I can simplify the language, I can be more specific. Let's say make more visual. Let's add an image to it, right? It's now going to redo this entire page, reformat it, and change the layout and add an image within it. Okay. Look at that, completely new. And now it's creating an image through AI. Let's go down to some other pages. Let's look at this, right? Here's the analysis of the subject properties pending and active. Here's the market positioning challenges, right? Down here, recommended pricing strategy. Okay. Implementation and communication strategy. How are we going to get this thing sold? What are we going to do moving forward to change it up? Okay. So this is an example of a PDF version. Okay. Here is an AI image. Again, like I said, AI gets us 85%, 90% of the way there. In this scenario, obviously, we're talking about a specific property. This is not it. So if you ever wanted to change an image and actually maybe upload something, you can click, again, everything's clickable. I can click on this and I can edit it. And I can upload the subject property image right here and replace it and then have it be an accurate report with the image that I want. All right. So I hope this is cool. I hope this is helpful. I hope you're not too far lost, but your minds are exploding to the point where you're starting to realize all of the ways that you can leverage this to your advantage. Again, to the simplest form we did, here's an example of a listing that's sitting, how are we going to get it sold? We could do market reports. We could do presentations. You can build out standalone web pages. You can build social media content like I showed you that post prior. Let me give you some other examples of how I'm working with real estate agents in this market and what we're using it for. I put together a report of migration trends. Okay. Now, let me explain to you here again how we're leveraging this is back over into ChatGPT. Let's say we're done with that assignment. Okay. That's one example. One other thing I want to share with you, which I did not cover, is that within ChatGPT, if we start a new chat, we can look at the search bar. We can click on the plus button to upload documents like we already did. But look below it. There are additional options of things that we can do. All right. One is called agent mode. This is a plus feature. They're slowly rolling this out to everyone. I'm not going to get into this today, but it's really cool. Conversation for another day. But I do want to share with you this one, deep research. All right. And even if you have the free version, you do get so many quote unquote credits of the free version for deep research. And what deep research really is it's basically going to make ChatGPT work harder for you. And what I mean by that is when you normally ask ChatGPT something, it's going to put in my opinion, the least amount of effort that it can, unless you're specific with it and you give it like detailed instructions and you hold it accountable. So for example, what I mean by that, if I was just doing a new chat and maybe I said, hey, give me whatever, a listing description, right? Maybe you're just making this up. You could do that. Or you could say, hey, give me 5 listing descriptions that are all unique and different that I could choose from, right? Now we're making it work harder for us. And it's not just going to get away with doing 1, it's going to do 5, right? But it's still only going to rely on so many sources of information if it's going out into the internet and searching. So where I'm going here is if you want a very, very fine-tuned, accurate, detailed report on something, say for example, a home buyer's guide, or maybe you've got a listing and you're going and you're going to have a listing presentation and you want a full report on how you're going to get that property sold, how you're going to highlight it, how you're going to market it, who's the ideal buyer for it, who is that buyer persona. You could have ChatGPT do it, and you could do it through deep research. And this is deep research. I would type in what I want, and then chat's probably going to take 20 to 30 minutes to do this because it's going to spend a lot of time creating this report for you. So just know that deep research is there. You can create buyer's guides, seller's guides, migration trends, marketing reports. And then where I'm going here, right? If anyone's kind of connecting the dots, I can then take those outputs and I can copy and paste them into gamma.app. And I'll share with you some examples of what I've done here. So let's see. Scrolling down here, let's look at, I showed you migration trends. I looked at someone wanted to look at the fastest selling zip codes. Okay. That was a flipper that was looking for his next flip. Down here, we can see the hottest real estate markets. We can see CMAs. We can see other examples of what's going on in the market. But here's a highlight of the Hilltop neighborhood where this real estate agent wanted to know about the Hilltop neighborhood. They wanted to share this with a seller that was selling, or excuse me, a buyer that was buying in Hilltop, which is a nice neighborhood here in Denver that they wanted a full entire report on. Let me give you another example. There's one in here where we have a detailed report of, I think it was like a $6 or $7 million listing that a real estate agent used to present to their seller on how they're going to get this $6-7 million listing sold. So again, where I'm going here with this, guys, is leverage this to your advantage for so many different ways. Here we go. Comprehensive marketing strategy for 7525 East First Place. Okay, right? Report. Boom. So again, there's tons of examples of this, guys. I know it's 10:30. I want to be mindful of time and leave the last few minutes open to questions, but I want to get back to the core piece here, which is, again, I know I talked a lot. I know I jumped around and I covered a lot of different things, but I'd say key takeaways for today, starting over, is create an account for ChatGPT. Customize your ChatGPT. That's one, right? Two is to just be mindful of all of these things within ChatGPT. Maybe click around if you want. Three, highly recommend Gamma.app, okay, for creating visually appealing information. And then four, I'm going to share these prompts with you that you can use. There might be something in here that you might want to use to your advantage, okay?